Hello, hello, Miss J here. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are going to talk about traveling while plus sized. So we're going to be doing a summer series called Hot Girl Summer, and I want you all to participate. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be podcasts. There's going to be the ultimate swimsuit guide and other goodies. When you opt into the swimsuit guide, you actually get a email that comes to you that walks you through a mini style makeover, gives you podcast guides and other goodies to help you have your own hot girl summer. This episode is actually inspired by my friend, Jill Angie, who's an amazing running coach. And I've been on her podcast. She's going to be coming on the podcast. I just adore her. And one thing she said is that she had been listening to a podcast where a person who is very thin and very small was talking about how to create a mini capsule wardrobe from a very minimalist perspective for traveling. And she's talking about how she fits everything into her teeny tiny suitcase. And it's all very homogenized and curated and beautiful. And I think that has its place, certainly. However, for the folks that I cater to, who are living the plus side of life, who are on the curvier side of things, who are very tall women with big shoes, having that teeny tiny, well-curated little bag is not their reality, right? Their clothes are actually bigger sized. Their shoes are actually larger sized. And the idea of having to cram everything into a teeny tiny, perfectly well-curated suitcase is just not within the realm of possibility for them. So this podcast is for those folks who maybe don't want to fit everything into a teeny tiny, well-curated suitcase. I want to free you from the tyranny of the minimalism craziness that you have to fit everything into a teeny tiny suitcase and the shame that comes if you can't. I'm freeing you from the tyranny of the minimalists. Actually, I have tons of minimalist friends and I adore them. Actually, I have friends who are minimalist coaches. I adore them. So I do this a little bit tongue in cheek, but I feel like there needs to be an answer and a response to the constant inundation that somehow, if we're not packing a teeny tiny suitcase, that there's fill in the blank wrong with us. So that's what I'm going to actually address today. The first thing I hear oftentimes is, well, my clothes actually don't fit into a teeny tiny suitcase. What do I do? And what I want to offer you is, friends, there's absolutely no shame in carrying a larger suitcase. And I know that sounds kind of funny to say that. And it sounds like, well, duh, why would there be shame in it? The stuff I hear from my clients whom I adore is y'all find ways to guilt and shame yourselves. And there's new and novel ways all the time. And this is one of them. And a lot of it comes from the idea that we're being silly or frivolous or vain if we carry a larger than teeny tiny suitcase. That we don't want to be that girl on the trip who brings the full size, full scale suitcase. We don't want to be that girl who happened to have to check in her luggage and now everybody has to wait for her when they get off the plane. We don't want to be that girl. And oftentimes that girl means we don't want to be the plus size chick who needs a little bit of extra space in the world. We don't want to be the tall gal who needs a little bit of extra space in the world. And what I really, really want to normalize for you is it's okay to bring the big old bursting to the seams, giant ass suitcase if you want to and if you need to. Some of us, our clothes are literally bigger. Our shoes are literally bigger. We literally need more space. And by trying to squish ourselves down physically in the space we take up, and then squishing our suitcases down and the space that our stuff is allowed to take up, we're literally buying into the idea that we have to make ourselves smaller to accommodate the other people. And I want you to defy that notion, even with the size of your suitcase. It's okay to be extra and to require a little extra room with your voice, with your ideas, with the physical shape and size of your body. The second thing I want to speak to, and maybe we don't have to carry the teeny tiny suitcase, is oftentimes, and I've also had this dilemma, we're in this striving to take the teeny tiny suitcase and get that teeny tiny suitcase badge of honor I get my minimalist badge of honor, right? It's its own type of badge of honor and silliness, is I actually don't bring what I need. And then I have to make a run to Target because I didn't bring the shoes I needed and my feet are killing me. Or I have to make a run to Target for Band-Aids to cover the blisters because I didn't bring the shoes I needed. Or I didn't bring the full-size beauty product that I need. And I have very curly hair. And I ended up basically walking around like a wild child for a week because I didn't bring the full-size product that I needed. Or I sweat profusely. So I didn't have multiple changes of clothing that I needed when I sweated through outfit 1 because I didn't have outfit 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't bring the extra panties I needed. And I had to suffer through swamp ass for however many days and washing my panties by hand in a hotel bathroom because I just wouldn't bring a normal freaking size suitcase. You deserve better. For some of us, whether we're in a larger body, maybe we just sweat more. We need extra changes of things on hand. What's so interesting about this is we wouldn't tell a mother with her children, you're not allowed to bring extra diapers or the extra bottles or the extra set of formula or the multiple changes of clothing and onesies that your baby's going to require on this trip. We would never say that to a mom, but we say that crap to ourselves. You're not allowed the extra nightgown. You're not allowed the extra shoes, the extra products, the extra things you're going to need to have an enjoyable, pleasurable time while you're away. No. We tell each other that we have to strive for the teeny tiny minimalism badge of honor. And I think that's complete bullshit. If we wouldn't say that to a mom with her children, I don't want you to say that to yourself. You're allowed the normal size, giant size suitcase. Number 3. I'm on a rant here, y'all, apparently, so I'm just going to go for broke. Number 3. Why are you striving for that? I really want you to evaluate that. Who benefits from you shrinking yourself? Who benefits from you taking the teeny tiny suitcase? Who benefits from this? Really? Nobody. You not having what you need on hand and therefore you having a miserable time while you're away doesn't serve anybody, least of all you. There literally is no minimalism badge. There is no award show for she who brought the tiniest suitcase. Like, it doesn't exist, friends. Now, there's some of you who are like, but I save money by not having to check in a bag. But do you? Like, do you? Because those runs to Target that are unnecessary, or to the drugstore, having to Instacart yourself various products because you didn't allow yourself the normal size suitcase, well, that shit adds up, my friends. This is the voice of experience, for reals. You're not actually saving any money. You're not saving anybody any time. You're just making yourself miserable, trying to people please an imaginary crowd for a badge of honor that doesn't exist. Now let's apply this on a meta level. Where are you not speaking up and using your voice to people please a crowd of non-existent people so you can get the badge of honor of she who spoke the softest? She who took up less butt room with her booty in a chair? I mean, what are we doing here? You are allowed to take up space, including the big ass giant suitcase full of everything you could possibly need, because you are allowed pleasure, you are allowed joy, and you are allowed to supply yourself and provide for yourself and invest in anything that you need to make your life easier. That is not vain, that is not silly, and it is not an inconvenience. You are worth it, even with the size of your suitcase. That's what I have for you today, folks. If this resonated with you, or if you have a friend who would benefit from listening to this podcast episode, I want you to share it whenever you can, wherever you can, especially as we approach travel season. No more tyranny of the minimalist, teeny tiny suitcase. Get free, y'all. Miss J out.